Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Sorensen, publisher at Herald Review Media. Welcome to the 2020 Virtual Election Candidate Forum, presented by Herald Review Media and Neighbor. Neighbor is our brand new social media platform that is monitored by local journalists here in Cochise County, where you can join in the conversation 24/7 on issues that are impacting your local community within Cochise County, or just some positive things that are going on in your neighborhood. It's a great platform to engage with your neighbors, friends, family, your schools, your church, anything. One great thing about it is that it doesn't include advertising, and it's hyper local. So you don't have any of that other noise, and we're here to watch out for you and make sure the information that you're requesting or posting is accurate. So please join in the conversation after this forum and sign up. It's free. So moving on to tonight's event, our forum includes 22 candidates that are running for over 10 races. I'm going to turn it over now to our managing editor, Andrew Paxton.
Again, my name is Andrew Paxton. I'm the managing editor here at Herald Review. So tonight we will have over 20 candidates directly live to you to be able to bring you their platforms, introduce themselves, answer a few questions, and then after our session where we bring all the candidates up on stage, we will have another open mingle session, just like we had at the beginning of the forum, to allow you members of the public to, again, follow up with candidates, ask them any follow-up questions that you might want, and continue that conversation after they've given their presentations. So every candidate will have 1 minute to kind of briefly describe themselves, give a little bit of an introduction, and then I will be asking the candidates 1 or 2 questions depending on time, pretty simple questions, basically what they hope to achieve during their time in office, how they hope to, go about their duties, kind of simple things like that. So without further ado, we will start with our first slate of candidates, which are the Sierra Vista City Council candidates. So we will be bringing up in presenter mode Kathy Boston, Rachel Gray, Sanchelica Landry, and Damon Malone. We will have them up here momentarily, and then we will hear from each one of them and go from there. So I would ask candidates to keep yourselves muted until you are ready to present, so we don't have feedback, cross-contamination, all that kind of good stuff. So we have 3 of the candidates. We are working on getting Damon Malone on here. So you should see a pop-up on your screen asking you to go ahead and accept. If you haven't already done that, please go ahead and do so. While we're working on getting Damon up here, I'm going to go ahead and open this up to our first candidate, which is going to be Kathy. So Kathy, if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself to the audience here, and then I will go ahead and follow up with a question after your introduction. So whenever you're ready, Kathy, please take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. Hi, my name is Kathy Boston, and I'm running for City Council as a write-in candidate. 3 of the things on my platform is representation, community development, and community engagement. I've been a business owner in Sierra Vista now for 15 years, and I've also been a resident of Sierra Vista for 22 years since we retired from the military. Currently serving on as the ambassador for the state of Arizona for my company. I'm a real estate broker here in town, and I am looking forward to being able to serve my community in a different capacity. I understand that representation is very important. The local government should represent the people in which they serve. So if you're interested, I would love your vote on November 3rd. Thank you.
So, Kathy, what would you say are the some of the priorities that you'll be looking to address if you were elected to the Sierra Vista Council?
One of the things, Andrew, that I've been finding out recently since running somewhat of a disconnect. There's a lot of people in the community that don't really understand local government, what the city council does and how it functions. And so even myself, I've learned so much just by running. So with the city now coming out with Bang the Table and with the Herald's neighbor social media platform to help engage the community, I want to make sure that people that felt like they may not have had a voice or may have been disconnected from local government, want to pull them in and engage them into being more active and involved with the things that are going on in the city.
Excellent, very good. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I encourage anybody who wants to follow up with Kathy or any other of the candidates tonight to find them after the session, join them on their table, and continue to engage. So next, we'll turn it over to Rachel Gray. So Rachel, if you want to give a brief introduction and why you're running for another term on the council.
Sure, thank you, Andrew. And I would also like to say thank you to the Herald for hosting this event. I love this software. It's so interactive and easy to be able to chat with people. So I am currently on city council, and I serve as the mayor pro tem, which I laughingly say is I get to do the things that the mayor doesn't want to do a lot of the times, which is just a joke. I actually have to step in for him when he is unavailable or just needs someone to step in on his behalf, and very proud to do so. I have lived in Sierra Vista since 2001, when, as most people that came to Sierra Vista got here, was when my husband was stationed at Fort Huachuca. And so I've always been involved we were in Mississippi and moved to Sierra Vista or Fort Huachuca from Mississippi. And I've always been involved in a community endeavor in some way, shape, or form back there in Mississippi and here. And so council just seems like a natural progression with my abilities, with the skills and the attributes that I have. And I'm very proud of the things that we have accomplished while on council. And I'm happy to talk with anyone about those during the time if you would like to stop by the table and we can talk about some of those accomplishments. In my next term on council, I want to continue working on quality of life, making sure that our citizens are safe and secure. We have great streets, that we're leveraging as many of the opportunities for recreation and culture and entertainment opportunities that we can. I also want to continue working to make sure that we have an effective and efficient government that is making sure our service delivery in all departments are the best that it can be, having open and transparent government. And then the one that I think is most important that makes sure that we can have quality of life and efficient and effective government is positive economic growth, and looking at ways in which we can do that, enhancing on the missions that we have at the fort, as well as looking at diversity in other areas that we can increase economic growth. So I thank you again for this time and appreciate this opportunity.
Awesome, very good. Well, you basically addressed the question that I would have asked, kind of in your speech there. And in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next candidate to make sure that we can get to everybody tonight. So, Angelica, if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself, and you can either launch right into kind of answering that question, or you can wait for me to ask you something, however you're kind of most comfortable with it. So take it away.
Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate being able to come on here and share about me and learn about other people. My name is Sanchelica Landry. I've lived in Sierra Vista for over 12 years. I love it here. Ever since I came here, I loved it. My family, we want to make this our forever home. A little bit about me is I have my MBA, I have my doctorate of management, I'm working on my master's of education, and I feel like this is a really great opportunity for me to use a lot of the knowledge that I've accumulated over the years and to apply it to help the city, to serve the city, serve the, work with and serve the members of Sierra Vista as well. During my time here, I've really been able to see how people come together, and people that love Sierra Vista, they come together, and it's just a great community of people. Some of the areas that I feel strongly about are quality of life, for people to feel safe, for people to have things to do, for people to want to stay here and come here and stay here. Also sustainability, I think using making our decisions to use our resources in a way that benefits us short term as well as long term. So kind of thinking about the future that way, down the line, people will still be able to have those resources, and as long as we use them smartly. And then cultural diversity as well. I feel like we really need to communicate with one another to understand and appreciate one another, because everybody together, we make Sierra Vista beautiful, and everybody has their own skills, their own background, their own beliefs, their own values that come together. And when we work together and we appreciate one another, communicate with one another, it makes things work, and it makes things great. Is that my time?
Yeah, I think that's about it for that. So I think we may be having some technical difficulties bringing Damon up onto the stage. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. But in the interest of keeping things moving along, we are going to move on to the next race. We will see if we can get Damon back up on the stage after we've gone through everybody else, and if anybody else has any technical difficulties while we're trying to bring you guys up. We do have some time built in at the end where we will try to bring you on at that time. So again, these are Sierra Vista City Council candidates. If you would like to connect with them more after the forum, go ahead and find them, and please do so. So we will go ahead and move on to our Cochise County Supervisor candidates next here in just one moment.
Hello. Is this thing on?
We're on and broadcasting.
Well, I would be more than happy to let Lori talk first if she's ready. But she's not. Okay.
Okay, so we have our 3 Cochise County Supervisor candidates here getting ready to join us. So we have Lori Kilpatrick, Ann English, and Tom Crosby ready to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit more about their what they're hoping to accomplish in their next term or in their first term if they are elected. So without further ado, I will throw it over to Ann English. If you want to introduce yourself and share a little bit about what you hope to accomplish if you're elected for another term, and then we will go from there. So Ann, please take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. As you know, as you just stated, I'm running for re-election. I've been on the board. This will be 12 years. I'm hoping to be able to move forward with the issues that we have already established. A strategic plan, I think, that has really worked. It helped us to let all the departments know exactly where we're going. We've raised the employee pay, and we're now doing performance pay. So I think that's a great thing. The one thing I'm really wanting to push during the next time is the 2-port solution in Douglas to get the new commercial port. And thank goodness for the legislature that Ms. Kirkpatrick has gotten money, in the legislature for this money, but it hasn't gotten to the Senate yet. So we're looking for the funding. The county has already spent about $250,000 to do a plan of what all the infrastructure needs to be in order for the port to be successful. So that is a prime thing for me. We're always hoping to keep Fort Huachuca going because that's our bread and butter right now. But we know that we need to diversify and we need to have something besides government in this area. So we're hoping that this will entice, and it will be a generator for a lot of companies coming in to serve the people who come across the border. Mexico is our largest trading partner, and the maquila industries are growing exponentially every year. So I'm hoping that people understand that we've had good management. We've got safe roads. We have a balanced budget with reserves. And I would like to continue to serve the people of Cochise County if that's their will.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Ann. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And so now we'll go ahead and throw it over to Lori Kilpatrick. So Lori, if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself to the forum, and then if you want to go from there, and either I can ask you a question or if you want to just go ahead and kind of lead into why you're running.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you very much for having this forum tonight. My name is Lori Kilpatrick. I am running for District 2 Supervisor. Just a little bit about who I am. I'm a veteran. I have a degree in education. I taught school for many years, and now I'm a small business owner here in Tombstone. My goals as supervisor are pretty straightforward. That's to bring true representation back. I believe that it's time that we stop electing representatives to make decisions for us and make decisions with us instead. I'm anxious to work with the communities and our cities and develop economic growth and actually complete the two-port instead of just talking about it for the last 2 decades. Our communities are dying because we have very little economic stability here, and we need to work on those issues in our community. And I think my time is up. Sorry.
That was so we're giving the candidates 1 minute to kind of introduce themselves.
Okay.
Another minute or so. So if you want to maybe take another minute to talk about, what you think are some of the big issues facing Cochise County, or what you would hope to kind of address during your time, feel free to do.
We have a lot of serious issues, and we don't have a balanced budget. I mean, it may look balanced on paper, but actually we're over $33 million in debt, and we're going back $2 million each and every year. That's not a balanced budget, in my opinion. And so we need some serious strategic planning to work on those issues. And the only way we're going to do that is to bring the economic growth. So working within the communities, within the cities, and with the private sector to open the doorway to businesses and some economic growth, to bring back that the economic base that we're lacking since Phelps Dodge left. The base is losing 245 jobs this year alone. And not counting the jobs that it lost last year. And we've got to bring in other things. Tourism is the other big industry in our community, and that's down over 18% since 2016. And we have to build those bridges with our tourism council and our cities and redevelop that.
Awesome. So much for taking a few minutes to join us tonight. We appreciate it. And I want to direct all the candidates' attention to our general chat. Some members of the public are already asking questions there. So there is a question there for the supervisors regarding the county administrator position. So if you want to take a chance to jump in the chat and address that question, Mr. Cosby has already done so. But keep an eye out for on the chat for any questions. That gives you another opportunity and another avenue to interact with the public. Going from there, I'm going to throw it over to Tom Crosby, give him a chance to introduce himself to the public and speak a little bit about what he hopes to accomplish. So Tom, go ahead.
Andrew, thanks for having me, and thanks for everybody that's come. I believe that the Constitution, returning to constitutional principles, will fix the have come about by departing from constitutional principles. And what I'm talking about primarily is states' rights in that regard. By the same token, returning to Republican principles will cure the problems that have arisen from departing from Republican principles. And those are low taxes, limited government, free market economy, and then again, states' rights. So I wouldn't have an endless list of consultants. I wouldn't be wasting money on lease payments instead of having a pay-go strategy whenever possible, because a lease is just a loan called a lease. I wouldn't be ignoring the now, I expect it to be $45 million in pension liabilities, and we'll find that out in the beginning of December. And this is from ignoring the problem for a really long time. I've been talking about it since 2012, and the remarks that I made about pension liabilities while I was on the city council are on my Facebook account. And so I suggested things like pay retention bonuses for employees that are tempted to leave and go someplace else as one answer to the pension liability problem. So you always want to have minimal government, and that's how you have low taxes. If you are going to expect to bring in people like particularly retirees, which are really good for the economy because they're basically not looking for somebody else's job. So when a retiree is looking for a new place to go, they're looking for low taxes. Another thing that they're looking for is low housing expenses. So whatever can be done to enhance retirees coming is going to be a beneficial thing. By the same token, a business exists primarily to make a profit. And it might be nice to have these wonderful things like bike paths and so on and so forth that we all enjoy. But nonetheless, if you want to attract a business, you have to allow them the opportunity to succeed at business. And you don't have to drive very far down Fry Boulevard before you realize there's a lot of empty businesses out there. So in my opinion, a leader with good judgment would have known that it was a big mistake to peel up the railroad tracks in the early 2000s. Now we want a port of entry, and we peeled up the railroad tracks. That was not a good move. Bonus incentives for performance as far as personnel decisions. Let me know when I'm running out of time.
Yeah, Tom, I'm probably gonna have to cut you off there. Unfortunately,
That's okay. I'm ready for it.
I know that we've got a lot to talk about and definitely a lot of issues. So if anybody wants to follow up with Tom or any of the other candidates, we again encourage you to find them at their table after all the candidates' presentations. Of course, all the candidates have campaign materials out there that you can find and connect with them that way as well. So again, I thank our three supervisor candidates for joining us here tonight. And we're now going to move on to Bisbee School Board. So we have one candidate with us tonight who is running for Bisbee School Board. That is Carol Loy. So she will be joining us here in just a minute, and we will give her an opportunity to introduce herself to everybody here and talk a little bit about why she is running for that position. So, hi, Carol. So you want to take a minute to introduce yourself to everybody and talk a little bit about why you are running for the school board?
I'm Carol Loy. I resident of Bisbee. I've been on the school board for 10 years, and right now with everything going on, we're going to have some critical decisions to make within the school district. And I bring knowledge and experience, and I'm a logical thinker. And I've been privileged with the administration. I collaborate a lot with our county superintendent, Jackie Clay, and I also work with the ASBA, which is the Arizona State. I am the rural liaison for the Arizona School Rural Association. So I make sure that we have a voice at state so we get some the revenues and help that we needed. As far as Bisbee goes, I've been involved. Right now, we're getting ready to, it's so up in the air. We have to depend on all the health things, and we work real closely with the association and local health authorities and the state to decide whether we're going to reopen totally or what. We're doing mostly online, and we have the hybrid. So we have kids coming to school actually 2 days, and then they're in our computer lab 2 days. And with the budget, we're having budget problems, and school budgets are not easy anyway. And I have a big, thorough knowledge of budgets, and that's really important right now. And I also have a big network of people within the community that I work with, also people that are involved in education across the country that I can call on to help me out. So this networking really helps me be able to represent the people in Bisbee and what they need. So I talk to a lot of them. It's a big cross section that are friends and acquaintances. And I'm looking for, we're on a real trajectory to going upwards, and we just won 2 national awards for capturing kids' hearts, which are really great for Greenway and Lowell. Our kids are going forward with all the testing, and we were on a path to increase our report and our number that they give us. So COVID kind of stopped that a little bit. So we're right now just trying to educate our kids in the best way that we can and keep them safe, which is our priority with it. I think my best attributes is I do listen to people, I do ask questions, and then I act accordingly and act where needed. So with my knowledge and experience, I feel very qualified to be back on the school board.
Yeah, well, as you said, certainly a lot of challenges facing school boards all across the county and beyond, I'm sure. So we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us tonight. If anybody wants to connect with Carol going forward, she'll be continuing to be here on her table. So if anybody wants to reach out to her, please do so. So that's a good segue, talking about education, to our next 2 candidates, which are the Cochise County Superintendent candidates. So we will bring Jackie Clay and Sharon Thomas up onto our virtual stage here next to hear a little bit about them and from them on what they hope to accomplish as a county superintendent. So we will have them joining us on the screen here momentarily. Okay, so it looks like we have Jackie joining us, and we're working on bringing Sharon up in just 1 second here. There we go. All right, so again, thank you both for taking a few minutes to join us tonight. We definitely appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and start with Jackie. So if you want to take a minute to explain, introduce yourself to everybody and talk a little bit about what you've done as a superintendent or what you hope to achieve in your next term, I will turn it over to you. So Jackie, go ahead and please introduce.
Hi, my name is Jackie Clay, and I'm running for County Superintendent of Schools. Prior to becoming a county superintendent, I retired after 25 years in the military in 2004 as a command sergeant major, which is the highest enlisted rank anyone can achieve. I then heeded the call of an educator, and that's where I became a teacher and a career and technical education director and an assistant principal. As an assistant principal, our career and technical education programs increased from 9 to 17 programs. I now hold the position of County Superintendent of Schools, and I ask that you Google my name, Jackie Clay, to see my accomplishments as an educator from 2005 to the present. As County Superintendent of Schools, I've focused on the academic needs of our school system while collaboratively working with board members, administrators, teachers, students, parents, businesses, industry leaders, community leaders, and other stakeholders at the state and local level to help our students succeed. This is evident by the teacher trainings that I've done, the school board trainings, advisory board training, business managers trainings, and advisory boards with our students and advisory boards within the community. In the next 4 years, I'm going to focus on career and technical education, jail and detention, transition, online accommodation schools, and online accommodation dropout recovery school, which is going to help the schools, and exceptional services consortium. So our voices will be heard. I've also connected the dots and formed relationships locally and statewide for education. I tell people, especially up at the state, if you're going to make a 360-degree decision with only 180-degree information, that decision is flawed. So my job is to go also not only doing things locally, but at the state having them include Cochise County in any decision that they make so that their decisions will not be flawed. As you can see, I'm always going to be a transformational leader, servant leader. I'm a servant leader of action. I want to continue the momentum for 2021. Vote for Jackie Clay to help our economic independence for our students and economic success for our county. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Jackie, for joining us tonight. We definitely appreciate it. And now I'll send it over to Sharon. So Sharon Thomas, if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself to the community and talk a little bit about why you're running for the position and what you would hope to accomplish if you were elected.
Sure. Thank you, Andrew. And thank you to the Herald for putting this great event on and to everyone for attending this evening. I'm Sharon Thomas, and I'm running for Cochise County School Superintendent because I believe it's time to put students first in Cochise County. I'm an experienced teacher, administrator, and school board member. I hold a bachelor's degree in education, a master's degree in education leadership, and I'm completing my doctorate degree in education as well. I'm currently a member of the St. David School District Governing Board. I worked in business management before I became an educator, and I owned and operated my own small business in Sierra Vista. I spent most of the past 20 years teaching and mentoring teachers in Cochise County. I've taught core subjects and career technical education, in our local districts, at Cochise College, and at U of A South. As an educator and as a leader, it's been my experience that the school superintendent's office in Cochise County is focused primarily on politics and administrative duties and not on providing the support system that it should for our county educators, our students, and our family. So as Cochise County school superintendent, I will build that connection of support between our school superintendent and our communities. Our county school superintendent's office should be an education hub for all of our county districts and our county families. As county school superintendent, I'm going to focus on technology and accessibility for our county school students, for all of the students across the county. I'll coordinate an arts consortium to support arts education, not an administrative position overseen at the county office, but a boots on the ground consortium like the special needs consortium we already had that does not need to be taken over by the county with an administrative office and a big high paying job in the county office. Our special needs consortium was taken out of the county because it was not financially efficient for our school districts. The 12 districts that are in that consortium need support from the county office, not to be undermined. And the arts consortium is not a leader making a lot of money coordinating what they need. It's someone bringing in, working like our special needs consortium does now, bringing in arts educators into the county for districts that can't afford a cadre of arts teachers, especially our smaller districts. The school superintendent's office should also have a grants writer, I believe, to support the funding that our schools need that we're not getting through our state leadership. And this hit us particularly hard with COVID and the needs that we had. And that really could have supported our school districts. So as a county school superintendent, my priority will be to create that education center, that resource hub with professional development for teachers, support for our districts, and resources for families and schools. So thank you after and talk to anyone that would like to talk to me. I won't take any more time, but please vote Sharon Thomas for Cochise County School Superintendent. Thank you for your support.
And thank you again, both of you, for joining us. And obviously, school superintendent is a very important position. Touches a lot of lives in this, in impacting our students and our children. So I'd encourage everybody who's here to follow up with both of our candidates for any other questions or comments that you might have. We're going to now move on to our next race, so we will bring our Cochise County Sheriff up on stage. So Sheriff Mark Daniels will be joining us. Even though he is running uncontested, he wanted to participate tonight. Wanted to take an opportunity to address the forum and address the community. So we're going to have Sheriff Daniels join us in just one moment here and introduce himself to those who may not be familiar with our sheriff, and talk a little bit about what he's done so far as sheriff and what he hopes to accomplish in his next term. So Sheriff Daniels is now with us on screen. So Sheriff, please take it away and introduce yourself and let us know what you've accomplished and hope to accomplish moving forward.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you for the Service to Herald team putting this on tonight. And thank you for everybody joining in this event tonight. 8 years ago, I was humbled and honored to be elected as your sheriff, to lead the sheriff's office into the future. And as an officer of the people, I've never forgot who we work for, and that's you. And I think that's so, so important. I like people. Makes my job easy. It truly does. 36 years I've been in law enforcement. Prior to that, I was in the military. And one thing that stood by me, that's carried me and helped my first set of expectations is, besides my value system, is my oath of office. And that is to keep you safe and enforce the laws. One thing I got to say, and that is, and I hadn't heard it tonight, is the fact that public safety is the quality of life we all enjoy. It truly is. Having a good public safety as a priority is very, very important. And I think that's so, so important as collective leaders, both local, state, and federal, as we work with our communities. Excuse me, my cat's up on the table. It's really weird. Sorry. And so I'm going to put him down here. So again, public safety is a priority to me. That's what I'm elected to do. It enhances quality of life, and I make sure that the quality of service that our citizens receive is professional and it's accountable, which I think is very important. I got to give a shout out to the dedicated men and women that work at the sheriff's office. They do an amazing, amazing job. And with the many challenges we've seen just this year alone. I do a survey every 3 years. Every 3 years I do a survey. 5 simple questions, a blind survey. And the first question is, do I like working at the Cochise County Sheriff's Office? 100% of my staff put either strongly agreed, which was the majority, and agreed. Not one person over the two surveys we've done the last 2 years have said not one person said they do not like working at the sheriff's office. So we've instilled that leadership. We've instilled that that pride and culture that they respect. So again, we've worked hard with time, being transparent to build that trust in our communities. We'll continue doing that. And I thank everybody for their guidance, their mentorship, and most of all, their support of the sheriff's office and myself. And collectively, as elected leaders, local leaders, state leaders, federal leaders, working together, we'll continue to make Cochise County a great place to live. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheriff, and we appreciate everything you do and all of your deputies and all the other law enforcement here in Cochise County to keep us safe. We certainly appreciate it. So again, Mark Daniels, the sheriff, will be here, accessible, able to, if you have any follow-up questions or want to connect with him, that you can do so after everybody's presentations. So up next, we will move on to the Justice of the Peace Precinct 5. Have candidate Adele Drumlovich will be joining us on stage here just momentarily to introduce herself to all of you and explain a little bit about why she's running for the position and how she hopes to manage that position if she is elected to that. So we will have her on stage here just momentarily. Apologies, everybody. We appear to be having some technical difficulties bringing Adele Drumlovich up onto the stage. So again, we will have some time at the end. We will try one more time to bring any candidates that we were not able to get on during their scheduled time. We will try to circle back to them and see if we can give them one more opportunity to join us tonight. But in the interest of time, we are going to move on to the next race that we are planning on introducing everybody to tonight. So that will be the Cochise County Superior Court Division 5 candidates. So we will be bringing Ann Carl, Jason Lindstrom, and Sandy Russell up onto our virtual stage here in just one moment. Again, apologies to any of the candidates who are not able to join us, who are having any kind of technical difficulties with you if we can later on in the evening. If we're not able to bring you up on the virtual stage tonight, candidates or members of the public can interact with the candidates at their tables or can find them afterwards. Getting a little bit of it. Are you getting the echo? Or? So I'm not sure why I'm getting feedback here. but I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Ann Carl, if you will, if you want to start us off with an introduction and why you're running.
Thank you, Andrew. I hope everyone can hear me. I got into this race because we deserve to trust our next judge, to be fair and honest, to work hard and apply the law. I've worked my whole life on justice. I was a teacher, a social justice worker, and now I've been an attorney. Chris Roll hired me as a prosecutor 17 years ago, and he endorses me today. He was the county attorney at that time. I've worked on thousands of cases, had hundreds of trials. Even with a full caseload, though, I've also managed to bring in hundreds of thousands of grant dollars to our county, adding a wing to the homeless shelter locally, adding downtown solar, supporting prison rehabilitation efforts that benefit our community. So you can trust me to be a public servant, a doer, not a self-promoter. I will actually care about people and fairness. As a voter and a taxpayer, I want a judge like that. And I need your vote to do that. So thank you for your consideration.
You still have another minute, so how would you look to, take on the judge's role? Like, what kind of principles would kind of guide your time on the bench if you were to be elected?
Well, principles, lawyers have to follow the code of the ethics code, and judges have a whole other code on top of that to follow. So my principles are spelled out for me in that. Canon 4 right now guides judicial candidates, all of us. I see this job as pertaining to the administration of justice, right, first and foremost. And so a good judge is going to have to be an administrator, a hands-on manager. Oftentimes we think of judges as referees. But there's a lot of management to keep things moving along and make sure people who are not guilty are given their liberty as soon as possible, and that parties have their day in court. So right now with COVID-19, our courts are really stressed out. It's taking 4 times as long as normal for a lot of activities. And so a new justice or new judge coming in is going to have to really buckle down and put their nose to the grindstone and just make sure to administer and keep things moving along, but also spend the time to give people that day in court and be patient with people, be patient with those who need a little extra time and help, and make sure that they understand the process as it moves along.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Now we'll shoot it over to Jason Lindstrom. So Jason, if you want to take a minute to explain why you're running for this position and introduce yourself a little bit. Other candidates, if you're not currently speaking, please, if you can please mute your microphone, that'll help us not get some of that feedback that we've been having. So Jason, please go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. This is a really cool program. I still prefer talking to people in person. It's a little strange, addressing people through a video like this, but my name is Jason Lindstrom, and I'm running for Superior Court Judge. And my wife's sitting here beside me. She's not on camera, but we both are homegrown, and I grew up here. We raised our kids here. Our kids graduated from Buena. And we also, we're very connected to this community. I currently work as a Cochise County prosecutor in the attorney's office. And on the weekends and at night, I teach for the University of Arizona. I've been a prosecutor for most of my career, but I've also done other things and other legal work, to include working as a defense attorney, working on various civil matters in my private practice. As far as teaching goes, I've taught at a university level for nearly 8 years now. I have been preparing my whole life for this position, and am hoping that I'll have that opportunity. My professional experience is untarnished at this point. I believe it will stay that way. I've never been fired from the Cochise County Attorney's Office. Neither of my opponents can say that same thing. I've never used the legal system in an attempt to gain any political advantages by suing my competitors or filing complaints that are hyper-technical in nature. I am your Republican nominee, and I am here to serve the community that I love. I put that directly on my signs, and I mean it. I'm a firm believer in the Constitution. I believe in the separation of powers. I believe that the judicial branch should have an equal amount of power as the executive branch and the legislative branch. Slowly over time, I do believe the judicial branch has kind of taken some small steps backwards, and I think that needs to change. I don't intend to be an activist from the bench. I don't believe that's what judges are there for. And I intend to be your conservative candidate. And I would encourage any one of you to talk to people in the community about me and my experience, and about my competitors and their experience, and how well we have interacted with our colleagues, how well we have, well, ultimately what our reputations are. We've all been here long enough to have our reputation follow us around. So ultimately, that's all I have to say. Again, my name is Jason Lindstrom, and asking you for your vote, and thank you for your time. Hope you guys come visit my table, and don't hesitate to ask me the hard questions.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Jason. We really appreciate it. And now we'll shoot it over to Sandy Russell. So Sandy, if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself to the forum and talk a little bit about why you're running for this position.
Hi, my name is Sandy Russell, and I'm running to be your next Cochise County Superior Court Judge in Division 5. I have the right experience, and I am the right choice because I have more legal experience than any of my opponents, both in years and in the types of law practiced. The right experience matters in this court because it is not just a criminal court. This is a court that handles a wide range of different areas of civil law, such as divorce, child custody, property disputes, personal injury, contract disputes, probate, and many other areas of civil law. In fact, 60 to 70% of the caseload is civil. The right candidate, therefore, needs to be familiar with all of these other areas of law. And I am the only candidate with proven experience in civil practice. Cochise County also has a high rate of recidivism due to substance abuse, mental health issues, and the inability of offenders to obtain jobs upon release from prison or jail. I will develop smart justice programs such as Jobs Court, Veterans Court, and Mental Health Court that will save tax dollars by reducing recidivism. I have the writing and advocacy skills to secure grant funding for these programs. The Department of Justice sets aside millions of dollars every year for these types of programs, and it's just waiting for Cochise County to ask for the money. Nobody is asking for the money. I am running for this job because I see a real need in this community. With in the last 2 years, we've lost 4 of our longest time serving judges on the bench, with a combined loss of 80 years of experience. And as a civil litigator, which has been my primary area of practice for most of my legal career, civil judges who are really good and competent in civil law are hard to come by. And we need, with the loss of these 4 judges, we are in a deficit. We need a judge that is extremely competent in civil law and knows civil law well. And I saw a big need for that, and I have the right experience to fill that gap. And if you want more information, I have a website. It's sandyrussellforjudge.com. And if you go to my website, you will see that I have provided the public with tons of information about what this court does, the kinds of cases it handles, and why my experience and well-rounded legal experience is very important to this job. Am I a perfect person? No, I'm not. I will not sit here and tell you I'm perfect. Have I been a perfect lawyer? No, I'm not. But I work hard. I've worked hard my whole life. No one has ever given me anything. I was a single parent. I put myself through college and law school. I paid for every dime of my education myself. And I graduated with honors, working at a hospital 30 to 40 hours a week at night and going to law school. That's the kind of work ethic that I bring to the table. I don't know how to go any less than, 115%. And that's what I will do for Cochise County. So vote for me on election day for Sandy Russell for Cochise County Superior Court Judge Division 5.
Thank you so much to the three, Ann, Jason, and Sandy for joining us. Sandy, apologies, your video was a little bit hinky during that, but your audio was coming through great, so we were able to hear you, and I think everybody was able to hear your message. Anybody who wants to interact with any of these candidates or any of the other candidates that we've heard from tonight, I encourage you to do so after our presentations. Moving on next, we will be hearing from our AZ 14 candidates. So we will be bringing Kim Beach Machete, Gail Griffin, Ronnie Macias Condos, and Becky Nutt up onto the stage to hear a little bit, introduce themselves a little bit to all of you, our members of the community. So we will work on bringing them up here on our virtual stage here momentarily. So again, make sure that you're accepting that that invite that pops up on your screen when available, and we will go ahead and get ready to get this kicked off. All right, looks like we got our 4 candidates. Excellent. So I'm going to start with Kim Beach Machete. So Kim, if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself to the community and explain a little bit about why you're running, what you think some of the big issues are, that our area is facing, and then we'll kick it over to the other candidates. And please, candidates, if you're not currently speaking, if you're able to mute your microphone until it's your turn, that'll help us have any kind of feedback or any other things going on. So Kim, I will throw it over to you.
Thank you, Andrew. And this is one excellent forum. I tell you, we could use this in some of the schools right now. It's pretty nifty. I am Kim Beach Machete. I am running for the first time for a political office. I am a veteran and a retired school teacher. And so, of course, my main platform is about education. I am very, very passionate about education, and I think that we really need a sustainable education budget. Unfortunately, it seems to be one of the places that money is taken from when money is needed. I apologize for my voice too. I'm just healing from a bad trip into the ER. So if it's a little froggy, oh well, maybe it's louder. So anyway, I'm concerned that we don't have adequate funding for education in the state of Arizona. Having been a teacher and having seen the results of inadequate funding in our schools, I'm very, very concerned that it needs to change. I believe education is the root to all civil society. Education is schooling, and it's also staying informed so that you can be a productive member of society. I think it is the basis of our social welfare system. It's the basis of jobs, keeping jobs, bringing jobs in. We need to have good education system. And along with that, I think when we talk about having a choice in which school a parent can send their children, I think that's important. I actually did that myself. Of course, I have grown children now, but I think the bigger issue there is to make the schools equitable. I think the coronavirus has really exposed some gross inequities in our education system, that we have children that are basically not treated the same. And all of our schools should be receiving the right amount of funding in order to ensure that they all meet the high standard that we want them to meet, that all parents want their children to meet. I know that we have a proposition on the table right now, Proposition 208. It is good in that it will provide education money for the teachers, and it's very specific about where that money goes. I think part of the problem too is deciding where the monies go for education. Many times the money is there, it's given to districts, but it's not going to the places that it should be going to. I think part of the problem there also is that those kinds of decisions need to be in the hands of educators rather than politicians. And when we're talking about budgeting for teaching, we need to have experienced people in education, professionals that know what actually goes on at the lowest levels in the classroom with the children. I have been working as a sub. I'm running out of time, aren't I? I can tell by your face. Okay, I will just wrap that up and just say public education is my go-to for everything. Name's Beach Machete. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim, for joining us. I know we could easily take an hour with each one of these races if we had the opportunity, but in the interest of time, we are going to move on to our next candidate.
Absolutely.
So we will move on now to Gail Griffin. So Representative Griffin, if you want to take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you've accomplished so far and what you hope to accomplish if you're reelected.
Thank you very much for having this forum. It's very informational. District 14 includes portions of 4 counties, so it's all of Cochise County, it's all of Greenlee County. It includes the biggest part of Graham County and a portion of Pima County. Vail is in the district. I'm a successful businesswoman. I live in Cochise County, been here for, I work at Sierra Vista Realty. I'm a real estate broker. I've been at that company for over 40 years. I currently am your state representatives running, and I'm running for re-election. I currently chair the Natural Resource, Water and Energy Committee. I'm the vice chairman of the Federal Relations Committee. I'm also on the Military and Veterans Affairs Committee and the Health Committee. I'm also on the Ethics Committee. So I'm very busy at the Capitol, and I ask for your vote on November 3rd in order to continue. We have a lot of things that are important in Arizona that the people are interested in. And most important is, of course, the jobs and economic stability of our local communities. We need to keep our jobs in Arizona instead of outsourcing. Opportunity zones we're addressing. Broadband, we expanded. We had a bill that expanded broadband, especially for rural Arizona. It's important. We need to get our economy back on track, back to normal. We need to have affordable health care. We need to defend and support our law enforcement, first responders. We need to secure our borders and have safe communities. We need to stop the drug and human smuggling. We need a strong national defense, America first and Arizona first. Some of the bills that I have been active in is water conservation and protection of property rights. Transparency bills, and we have to balance the budget. We need the jobs in Arizona so that we have the monies to spend on the different issues that we need. Getting our economy back on track is really one of the first things that we need to address. Some of the other issues, of course, with executive powers and the governor making emergency powers and continuing with the restrictions and not fixing issues is of importance, and I have several bills open to address those kinds of issues. We want students to rank in the top 10% academically. We need taxpayers' dollars to get into the classrooms for the students and the teachers. We did fund 20% teachers' raises by 2020. We did fully fund that 20% over 3 years, but the last component was this past year. We had an unusual session this year with the virus that we saw, and so some of our bills, in fact, I had 19 of them over in the Senate that only needed a final vote and lost them, so we'll be back looking at those again this next year. Protect jobs and economic stability, secure our borders, safe communities, protect our property and water rights, support veterans and their families, fight against federal overreach, and protect our states' rights, and protect and defend our Constitution. So thank you very much. My name's Gail Griffin. I'm running for re-election. I appreciate your time and your vote November 3rd. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Representative Griffin. We appreciate you joining us here tonight. Now I'm going to throw it over to Ronnie Macias-Condos. So Ronnie, if you want to take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself to the community and explain a little bit about why you're running and what you would hope to accomplish if you're elected. You're still on mute there.
All right. Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for providing this platform for us to introduce ourselves to the community. So my name is Ronnie Macias-Condos, and I'm running for Arizona House of Representatives. I want to take this time to thank Gail Griffin and Becky Nutt for the service that you have given us up to now. I know, Gail, you've been in there a long time. If I ever have the opportunity to fill your shoes, I would welcome any teaching. I'm optimistic. Any help or advice you could give me. Same with you, Becky Nutt. So I'm hearing a lot about jobs tonight. Everybody's concerned about jobs. Everybody's concerned about the economy, and it's a big, big concern because it's affecting everybody and this virus that's going on right now. My concerns are, initially, I hear a lot about Second Amendment rights. People worried that their Second Amendment rights are going to be infringed upon, but I'm not hearing a lot about how we're keeping our community safe or our children safe in our schools. That's the first thing that got me going. I'm not seeing legislation happening, and it's getting stalled or just kind of kicked off and not addressed. So that's one of my things I am hoping to address. The other big thing that I am concerned about is, I mean, we hear a lot about growth, about jobs, about economic opportunities, but there's another side to that. How does it impact us with our resources? For instance, the very limited resource of water. There's not enough conservation going on. I appreciate the work you've done, Gail, but it doesn't seem to be reached far enough, especially in the rural areas where it's really being impacted, like in Wilcox. I was just talking to a person at the table that was mentioning fissures going on because the groundwater is being depleted, and they're not addressing that. So, I mean, I have a lot of things that I'm hearing from people besides gun legislation or besides gun ownership and economic growth. I'm hearing about healthcare. I'm hearing about the water issues. I'm hearing about criminal justice reform. I'm hearing about immigration reform. So that's what I'm out there to do. And I hope I can get your vote and I'll have a chance to make an impact in that area. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And again, I want to remind all the candidates that we do have the chat going on, and we have some Q&A going on as well. So there are some questions there that you might want to check out after this. If you're during the presentation now, whether it's before or after your presentation, there are some good questions and conversations going on there. So I encourage anybody to check those out. See if there's anything that you want to jump in on, and see if there's any conversations that we can continue there in the chat. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Representative Becky Nutt if she wants to take a few minutes to introduce herself, talk a little bit about what she's accomplished so far as a representative, and what you hope to accomplish in your next term. So Representative Nutt, please take it away.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. For putting this together. As you know, I am one of 2 state representatives for our district. You'll be voting for 2 representatives. So Gail Griffin, who's already spoken, and I serve together in the House, and we look forward to continuing district. I have served in the House leadership as Majority Whip the last years. This has been a unique position and on between the majority members and the Speaker of the House. Issues or something that a member needs quickly, there is an administrative piece of training and to be a resource for, and I count votes to help the Speaker if they have votes in a particular. I grew up in an entrepreneur family and learned to value free enterprise. I have served in my communities as a leader in business organizations, community and youth organizations. and in faith-based organizations. I have served as a volunteer, recruited volunteers, and in this position as your state representative, I continue to serve by working to expand the options for rural communities to grow business, grow the possibilities for the youth to live and raise their own family in a productive, thriving atmosphere. Building the more rural areas of Arizona is why I ran for office. What I think about and work on. It is not just that I represent the more areas of Arizona, but I have lived in just about every area, from suburbs to totally off the grid. I understand the way of life, the people, our needs, and our possibilities. And I believe you all support this value system of rural in our lifestyle. Education system, access to health care, to work and provide for our family, and to live safe. So this is a good lifestyle. It's hard sometimes, and we are losing it. There's a tear in the leaking young people. What pushes me is sealing such leakage. It's a multi issue, but number one, in my view, is creating for the youth to stay in the community they grew up in and raise their own families. They needed tools for them to live a prosperous and productive, trained in careers they want to pursue. Economies and create jobs doing so. We give youth a choice to stay in the community they grew up in. If they want to, they at least have the choice. And by building economies, we also help others to pursue their. Now our schools are scrambling how to best educate. Report I'm receiving is that many students are struggling to get back in the groove of school, and educators are no doubt struggling to help the students focus and get down to work. Time to get through all of this, but I'm confident that our students will begin to excel again. I am Republican. I believe in less government, and that we need to be involved in our community. Your support is always needed. Very much appreciated. Thank you for that vote this election. And I look forward to seeing people in person in the near future. Thanks again, the Herald.
Yes, I think we all look forward to being able to have events in person in the future, hopefully here soon. So thank you all four of you for joining us here tonight. Again, I encourage everybody to follow up with the representatives and the candidates to see if any other additional questions you'd like to ask. We've got some pretty good chat going on in our general chat right now. So I'm glad to see good conversation right now. So up next, we will have our Arizona Senate LD14 candidates. So Bob Carp is joining us in person, and then we will have a video from our current Senator David Gowan. He could not join us tonight, but he wanted to participate in this forum and some of his thoughts with everybody tonight. So we will get Bob up here on stage. Looks like we're bringing him on momentarily, and we will go ahead and we will start with the video that Senator Gowan went ahead and sent over. So that should be popping up here momentarily.
Hi, this is State Senator David Gowan. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you tonight, and I want to say thank you to our district for all the support you've given to me. Also, it's been a great honor to serve you at the state capitol for all these years. Now, I know the time is short, and I want to talk to you about our legislative team, Gowan, Griffin, and Nutt. We believe in our Constitution and the rights it bestows upon us. We also believe in safe communities and safe neighborhoods. That's why we back the police. And we believe in a free market system. That's why our state is the fourth strongest economy in the United States right now. We're also pro-family, we're pro-education, and we're pro-free speech. The strength of our district is shown through our leadership positions at the Capitol. And Representative Griffin, she is the chair of Natural Resources right now. Representative Nutt, she is the House Majority Whip, is number 3 in the House right now. And I am the Senate Appropriations Chairman, which means I work on the state's budget. That's a pretty powerful team, and I ask for your vote November 3rd for Gowan, Griffin, and Nutt. So God bless you guys, and thank you for this opportunity.
And we appreciate Senator Gowan for sending over the video and still finding a way to participate with our forum, even though he couldn't join us in person virtually tonight. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Bob Carp, who is running for the state Senate position. Bob, if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about why you're running and what you would hope to accomplish if you were in that seat, go ahead and take it away, please.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm delighted to be here. I'm Bob Carp. I'm running for state Senate, and I am here live. I have been a business person for 40 years, owned my own businesses, first in manufacturing, then in software development, and finally here in Cochise County as a real estate broker with my own real estate company. And I'm running because I think it's about time for a change. And I think what just happened with Senator Gowan proves the point. For the last 40 years, the Democrats have controlled the state Senate for 1 year. So when we talk about all the failures, that there are no jobs, that we need to increase our economy, I want to know exactly what the Republicans are proposing. I have a 5-point plan for economic growth in our area. Just saying we want more jobs and less regulation doesn't cut it. You have to actually have a plan. My plan includes things like expansion of the port of entry in Douglas, creating an inland distribution port in Wilcox, creating a 4-year state college in the Graham-Greenlee area, probably somewhere outside of Safford, investing in infrastructure in a way that creates permanent jobs here in rural Arizona. One of the things that Senator Gowan talks about is how great the economy is. I want to give you a quick bit of statistics. The Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity projected for the next 10 years job growth in Cochise County, an entire 38 jobs per year. Do you hear the state senator talking about this? No, he talks about it's the 4th best economy in the country. That's because 450,000 jobs will be produced in Maricopa County in the same period of time. We need to make a change. If you think things are going well, then I say vote for the team, the Republican team. If you think it's about time to try something new, look for me as a new idea and new leadership. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us tonight, Bob. And again, I encourage anybody to follow up with Bob after our presentations. We only have one more candidate left that we will be bringing up on stage. And then we will other candidates to see if we can, that we weren't able to bring up on stage. We'll have one more chance to see if we can get them up here. But up next, we will have our U.S. congressional candidate, Brandon Martin, will be joining us up on stage just momentarily to introduce himself, talk a little bit about why he's running for the LD2 seat, and share a little bit of his thoughts with us. All right, so we have Mr. Martin here on stage with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your patience as we got through all the rest of the other candidates. So, Mr. Martin, we'll go ahead and throw it over to you if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about why you're running for the seat.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you to everyone at the Herald for hosting this great event. I think it's important that we get out and engage in our community and in the district, so that way we hear from the people that we hope to represent. And that's what I want to be. I want to be a representative for you in Washington, D.C. I spent over 10 years working on Fort Huachuca as an intelligence professional, most recently as the training coordinator for USACO. I was in charge of training development and the budget for 474 Army civilians. I created programs that saved taxpayer dollars and promoted from within to move people from one area of expertise to another to utilize the manpower that we already had here at the fort. I want to continue that service. I served in the U.S. Army. I went to Afghanistan as a reservist. I went over to Afghanistan and deployed there for a year. And I want to continue my service to my nation and to my district. And I believe that right now we see with many issues that are coming up in the House of Representatives, we need someone who's going to be there working for us. I'm a constitutional originalist, and I believe that as your representative, I need to be there casting your vote, or my vote in that matter. And my opponent has been gone. My opponent has been out of office, missed over 100 votes in the 116th Congress. and has been voting by proxy since May 27th. And when it comes to COVID, she was unable to attend and vote on the CARES Act. I believe that these issues are very important to our district. She is not here tonight. She failed to attend the Vail Forum. She has turned down interviews from KGUN 9. And I just want to say that this is not what we need in a representative. We need someone who can be there and be able to address these issues as they come up. So I would be happy to take your questions and continue my service to you, but we have to get the economy reopened. We have to get people back to work because every job is essential, whether it's paying for your rent, your utilities, whatever it may be, putting food on the table for your children. That is essential. So we have to reopen the economy. I want to work with the leaders in this community, and one of my first points of action will be to meet with community leaders, to have a real sit-down discussion with our sheriff, with our local elected city leaders, county leaders, and up to the state level, and get buy-in from everybody as to what we need to do here in CD2. We have great opportunities, and I want to continue to make this a very great place to live. And I believe we have so much potential. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martin, for joining us for a few minutes tonight. And we encourage you to stick around so people can interact with you at the tables following this presentation mode. So we are going to try one more time to see if we can bring up a couple of our candidates who we were not able to bring up earlier in the night. So we're going to see if we can get Damon Malone from Sierra Vista City Council and see if we can get Adele Drumlovich, either or both of them, to see if we can get them up on stage. We'll try one more time. Again, we'll have a few seconds. I'm gonna say I appreciate everybody, all the candidates for joining us tonight, and all the members of the public who are taking a few minutes out of their evening tonight to become better informed and learn about the candidates and where they stand on these. We wish that we could have had this forum in person, obviously, but with the coronavirus, it was not possible. So we hope that all the candidates and all the members of the public have gotten something out of this here tonight. Looks like we've managed to get Damon up here on stage with us finally. So Damon, thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you want to take a minute to introduce yourself to the community and talk a little bit about why you are running for Sierra Vista Council, I will throw it over to you.
All right. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? All right. Good deal. I'm Damon Malone. I was born and raised. I was born in Sierra Vista Community Hospital. I was raised between Sierra Vista and Huachuca City. I've lived here my entire life. I'm 33 now, so that's roughly 33-ish years. I've heard about a lot of the issues revolving around the community. I've often discussed a lot of things that I believe could help our community moving forward with many friends and family members. And I decided to stop talking about it and start walking about it, start sitting at the tables where a lot of the decisions were being made, so that way I could help my community. I'm passionate about our water conservation and reclamation. I think that that is the basis for all growth. If we want Sierra Vista to grow, we have to focus on our water. And we have to make sure that we have plenty of it moving forward. Also, I'm passionate about making sure that we are building up our small businesses, our homegrown businesses. It's fine that we have, big corporations here, but we also got to look for the people who have our community culture in mind, people who want to grow our community culture. And we have a very diverse community, and we need to expand upon that. We need to listen to the different cultures in our community. So these are the things that are kind of at the forefront of my mind moving forward. Obviously, we hear about the port of entry. We hear about expanding economically. I'm all for diversifying our economic portfolio. That is like paramount in my mind. I just want to be, as the cliche goes, I want to be a cog in the wheel of progress. I want to be one of the ones that help us move forward. So all those things are kind of what I'm about, and I just want to be here to help and serve my community. So that's my goal moving forward.
And Damon, while we have you up here for a minute, what do you think you've talked a little bit about it, but what are some of the main issues, or what's one maybe key issue that you would want to tackle if you were elected to the council?
Well, right now, at the forefront of my mind, I would actually have to go with two. They're the two things that are most important to me. Again, because of COVID-19, because of everything that has gone on, our small businesses, are suffering. We have efforts in place to try to help them out, but we don't need our small businesses closing. We need more small businesses. We need more growth. We need more diversity with our small businesses. So we have to find a way to help them, whether it be tax incentives, whether it be grant programs, whatever the case may be. We have to find a way to help our small businesses grow and develop in this community. Not only that, again, I keep going back to it, but we have to, even though we're a flagship and we're at the forefront of water reclamation and water conservation, we have to do a lot more. We're in the desert, we're a desert community, and if we ever want any kind of growth, we ever want any kind of sustainability, we definitely have to look at our water, and we have to expand on that, and we have to look at our water rights, all of it, and we have to make those things better, and so that way we can grow. There's no growth without water. That's just the facts. So those things are kind of the 2 or 3 at the forefront of my mind.
Well, thank you for taking a few minutes to share your thoughts tonight. I apologize for the technical delays that we had, but I appreciate you sticking around and joining us here at the end of the forum. So
thank you so much.
So we're taking one more minute to see if we can get Adele to be able to join us on the forum. We're having some technical issues here.
So I have Adele on the phone. Hey, Adele, 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and unplug my speakerphone and unmute my camera. And then if you just, or unmute my mic. And then if you just want to talk really loudly, we'll get you up and running.
Okay, so we are going to connect with Adele via phone, via speakerphone. So we're going to pop her on right now, and hopefully we will be able to at least hear a little bit from her.
Try now. Go ahead, Adele.
Hi, this is Adele Drumlovich. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we're good to go.
Oh, thank goodness. So I have spent the last almost 2 hours trying to figure out what's going wrong here, and I do apologize. We've tried all sorts of things. I tried 3 different devices. Everything should be compatible. I do apologize, but I stayed with you all, and I'm glad that you stayed with me and you were able to figure out something to get me on the phone through the speakerphone of somebody else and onto your system here. I'm running for JP5 Judge, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5. I've been an attorney for 33 years. I've been going into the courtroom, actively going into the courtroom, going back 31 years, and I have lived in Cochise County, going into courts here for 22 years. Why I say going back, there was a few times here and there, a few months here and there where maybe I was doing other things, but I've had decades and decades and decades of experience in the courtroom. I have done predominantly criminal cases, both from a defense perspective and also some prosecution work. I was prosecutor for City of Bisbee and prosecutor for the town of Tombstone. But I have done predominantly criminal defense work, but I've also done civil work. When I worked for various law firms in town, I did civil cases while I was with them. So I did landlord-tenant, orders of protection, garnishments, civil lawsuits. In the lower courts. I'm very familiar with the lower money work as well. But now I'm just talking about what I do in that court, that particular court, the JP court system. I've got the experience. I've got the knowledge. I think I've got the good temperament that's needed for that position. I am respectful to people. I just want to be very clear, too, that some people said, well, being mostly a defense attorney, that could be a drawback. That could be a turnoff for some people. They think you're just going to be pro-defense, pro-defendant for example, criminal defendants. And I want to be clear, having been a prosecutor and also just the fact that I am an attorney, I'm a criminal defense attorney, but I'm in the criminal justice system. I understand it's not just about defending people. There's a prosecution side, and I can be fair, and I want people to understand I will be fair. I'm not just going to say, hey, I'm always going for the defendant. I'm going to let every defendant off scot-free. That's not what it's about. It's about upholding justice, getting to the truth, and for justice, both sides present their side of the case, and you make a fair ruling based on the facts and the law. So I hope nobody will think, oh, she's not going to be she will always side against the officers, for example. That's not the case. It's about being fair and justice for all. So I hope people will vote for me for Justice of the Peace.
Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us, Adele, and I apologize again for the technical difficulties, but I appreciate you sticking with us and finding a way to be able to connect with us tonight. So we have reached the 8 o'clock hour, so we are going to now throw it back open to the open forum for the next hour. Candidates will be accessible at their individual tables. You will be able to meet up with them, follow up with any questions that you might want to ask. You can do that with the chat function. You can do that with the microphone and camera function if you whichever method you prefer to interact with the candidates. So anybody who joined in late, that worked. Every candidate has their own table with their name on it and a number of seats. You can double click on each candidate's name or the candidate's table. Double click on an open seat. You will join. You'll be able to see everybody else at that table. You'll be able to chat and interact with them either through video or through the chat function on the side of your screen. You can filter between table to table by clicking the different seats on the different tables. There are 2 floors, so you will see an option on the left side of your screen to go to floor 1 or floor 2. So make sure that you check out both floors, interact with all the different candidates that you would like to hear from. We appreciate all of our candidates and all of the members of the public for joining us tonight. This forum wouldn't be possible without you. Members of the Herald Review staff will continue to be available if you have any other technical issues or need to connect with us over the next hour. But from here, we're going to throw it back open to the open forum and allow all of you to interact with each other. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. And most importantly, don't forget to vote. Thank you so much and have a great night, everybody.